Tonight I'm going to talk to you about Frigate Fleet Missions. Frigate Fleet Missions are my daily bread and butter. If you are running all 5 missions full blast every day, you stand to make 10 million credits, plus you gain shots at high-end items like storage augmentations, salvage frigate modules, spawning sacks, psychonic eggs, and valuable ancient treasures, all from the comfort of your freighter. And frigates are the only vessel in No Man's Sky that automatically upgrade their class when you use them. But you have to be diligent and use them every day. So let's take a closer look at how to use your freighter. What do you have to do to get started with Frigate Fleet Missions? You will need Fleet Command Terminals, frigates, Frigate Fleet Technologies. You'll need to assign frigates to Fleet Missions. You could use Fleet Booster modules, especially if you're just getting started. Then there's the mission debriefings, and there'll be some notes to help you get up and operational. You will need to unlock and build Fleet Command Stations. Each command station runs one Frigate Fleet mission, and there are 5 daily missions that you can do. These terminals are available at your freighter upgrade terminal under the second option on the list, base parts and upgrades. You tab over to freighter construction modules, which show the different modules you can build inside your freighter. You want to unlock the fleet command rooms. You will need salvage frigate modules to unlock this technology. Salvage frigate modules are available through Nexus missions on the Space Anomaly, Frigate Fleet Missions themselves, as well as on crashed freighters. You will ideally and ultimately need 5 fleet control terminals, although I prefer to have 6 just because. And if you're just getting started, just go ahead and build 1. Don't worry about it until you have like 4 or 5 frigates running that are earning you income to be able to buy more frigates, necessitating more fleet command rooms as your fleet grows. So, let's talk about frigates. Using my freighter as reference, you go to the bridge and go to the Manage Fleet console on your bridge, and there's where you can see all of the frigates you have in your frigate fleet. There are 2 different types of frigates available to you in No Man's Sky. There are mechanical frigates and more recently added living or organic frigates. The mechanical frigates were the first to arrive in the universe, and there are 5 basic types: combat frigates, exploration, industrial, trade, and support, each type being geared for the different missions, with support frigates basically being fuel tankers, although if you do raise them up to S-class, their scores can be decent. Acquiring frigates, the mechanical kind. These frigates are easily found. Set your restore point at any space station and simply fly outside and look around. A series of system freighters should warp in somewhere nearby. You should hear them warping in. They also warp in with a host of frigates, with many that are quite willing to offer their services. When you approach a system freighter, you will usually see a bunch of green icons on your minimap up top, and they show ships for hire. And if you approach one, you should receive a communication from its captain. If you speak with the captain, he will offer to join your frigate fleet for a price. It is here that you can see the frigate's statistics, biography, and cost. Ugga End. Combat 20, Exploration 5, Industrial 7, Trade 1, 17 expeditions, times damaged twice. What is this? Rude captain giving up -2 training. That's hilarious, with a happy crew and wood paneling inside. Probably has brown shag carpets too. So 70s. 1.6 million for that? Definitely. So I'm gonna buy it. Acquiring living frigates. Living or organic frigates take a little more time and effort to acquire, but they offer an amazingly large variety compared to the mechanical frigates. You need an anomaly detector to find them. Anomaly detectors are found by shooting asteroids in asteroid belts. They are rare though, so you might have to do a lot of shooting. You also get tritium hyperclusters from shooting asteroids. They're used for making frigate fuel. There is only one unique living frigate to each star system. Once you have acquired one, you will not be able to acquire it again from that system. Dead star systems generally do not have a resident living frigate. So assuming you're not in a dead star system, you get into your ship and you go into your inventory and activate the anomaly detector and engage your pulse drive. You want to ignore every signal it detects except for whale song. That is your target, whale song. You disengage the pulse engine and you fly up to it. It engages you in a quick dialogue, and you can then inspect the living ship and choose to purchase it, adding it to your fleet of frigates. The Infected Slavieux, Combat 4, Exploration 4, Industrial 21, Trade 6, and it is a newbie. It hasn't flown at all before, but I'm going to go ahead and buy it, even though it's like 20 million, and use that to fly with the one mechanical frigate that I just bought as well, to use that as a demonstration for flying when you only have a couple of frigates. One important thing to keep in mind is that frigates of all types increase class eventually over time. So it seems more important to find frigates that you like in some way, whether it's about the frigate's class, statistics, color, or insanely bizarre history that go with it. So don't necessarily worry too much about what class the living frigate is, because it will eventually become S-class if you keep using it. For a deeper dive into how to find living frigates, I suggest you check out my video on how to find living frigates. I can't stress enough how important frigate technologies are towards frigate fleet missions. These technologies, which bear the names of the freighters from which they were salvaged from, they add a global bonus to all the fleets you send out. Some are scientific abilities, some will add to defenses, to each fleet, every fleet, more defenses, scientific abilities, expedition speed, there's others for expedition efficiency, there's a whole bunch of them out there. They're very well worth getting. So you want to gather as many of these as possible and fill up your slots in your freighter technologies. And in my next video, I'm going to show you exactly where to find S-class frigate technologies. Every day, 5 frigate fleet missions spawn at your navigator who is on the bridge of your freighter. This is the guy to talk to in order to view the potential expeditions. Well, let's see what he has for us today. There are several different types of missions: industrial, balanced, combat, trade, discovery. But I generally look at the difficulty rating and the distance covered. The higher the distance covered, the more chances they have to find things. The higher the stars or difficulty rating, the better the stuff they find. 3-star missions usually catch my attention the most, and I usually start with those. Then next prioritizing ones with greater distances covered. However, I'm going to start with the easiest mission on the board, and I'm going to be using the 2 newest frigates that I got earlier in the video to show what it would be like if you were just getting started. However, to note, I do have a lot of frigate technologies in my freighter. So on the mission marquee, you can see the totals of the ships, including the capital ships and upgrades, and the bonuses that they add to it. So if you're just getting started, I highly recommend that you equip Fleet Technologies, which are buildable one-off bonuses adding +10 to each of the 4 different categories. I would say it's especially helpful to build these if you're just starting out. So you go to your freighter's upgrade control panel, and then you go to the first tab and you get the fuel oxidizer, which unlocks the other 4. Trade, exploration, scientific, mining. Each require a salvage frigate module to unlock, and I think they're well worth it at the early stages of the game. So in this mission, I chose to boost my trade, my industrial, and my combat statistics, each by +10, as you can see here, to give this mission better chances of success and less chances of getting damaged. The second mission I'm going to take is a 3-star trade expedition, 3,570 light years in distance. These longer missions give you more opportunities to get goods back from your expeditions. So I also like to assign only organic frigates to the really long missions because they have a greater chance of finding spawning sacs and cyclonic eggs, which are technologies that can be installed only on your living ships, not your living freighters, not your living frigates, but your living ships. Only place you can get them. Ideally, you want to have 100 in any category for any particular mission. And when I have over 100, I don't use fleet boosters. Next up is a mid-range 3-star combat mission, which I'm able to max out in all 4 categories. Next up is a short-range 2-star exploration mission. Last up is a short-range 2-star balanced mission. Balanced missions are interesting because you really want to get 100 in all 4 categories when you send these missions out. And again, the 100 ensures the best results and no damage to your ships. Once your missions are often in progress, you can go up to the fleet command stations and check in. You can abort the mission, you can leave the mission, or you can speak with the commander and get a status check of your fleet, which gives you just a nice little marquee showing all of the ships that you have in that fleet, which is very cool. All the statistics and upgrades, most excellent. So my favorite part of the day is when you get to debrief the commanders from your Frigate Fleet Missions. This is sort of like the kid at Christmas kind of effect, where you just don't know what you're going to get. It's like the spin the wheel, you take your chances. So even though this is a short mission, I got some really great stuff. Thermic condensate, sac venom, some money, a salvage frigate module, which is fantastic, and other goods that I can sell at the market. The second mission produced a fair amount of stuff. A little lackluster, but still a good amount of stuff, and that's great. It all adds up whether you're stockpiling to build things like stasis devices or if you're just trying to make a bunch of money and you're selling everything you get. In the next mission, this is our newbie mission. It's a very short, balanced mission, and we ended up finding a fair amount of money, $500,000 in credits alone, and the Aeronium, so that brings our total in cash up to over $1 million, and the log corruption produces a cyclonic egg, which is a technology that can be put onto a living ship. Our fourth mission is a very long 3,570 light-year trade mission. In that, we found plenty of items that we can sell, Gek relics, money. Look at that, it's storage augmentation, very cool. That is used to put storage slots into your ships, spawning sacks, which are used to put storage slots into your living ships, more money and more money, another cyclonic egg, aka technology for your living ship, a whole bunch more money, cryo pumps which sell for a great deal of money as well. So that was a great haul. And our last mission of the night is a 3-star short range, or I should say mid-range combat mission. And we can see lots of money coming in off of that. Indium, which is good for chromatic metal, but certainly some more money. Semiconductors, which are much better money or used for construction of stasis devices. And iridesite, which is incredibly valuable as well. I would estimate today's entire haul being about 13 million credits. So here's a couple things I want to touch on. You need to make frigate fuel in order to run Frigate Fleet Missions. Frigate fuel is made from tritium, and tritium hyperclusters, when you get them from blasting asteroids, each one, when you analyze them, gives you about 50 tritium. And so that's usually how I get the tritium that I need to make the fuel. Now the next thing you need is dihydrogen, and what I do is when I go to any terminal, I see if they have them there and I buy them out. And then I take each stack and I put it into my personal refiner, and as you can see, a stack equals about 800 dihydrogen, which I then put on my freighter so that I can make fuel for my frigates. You're going to need hundreds of tons of each of them every day in order to do this, and I like to keep a stack of 20 fresh every day. As you can see, the frigates have hard points on them. Sometimes they get damaged, and so you have to teleport aboard them to fix them. So I'm showing you here, I just teleport aboard and I go up to where the terminal would be up on top. If that one were damaged and I had to fix it, this is where I would have to go. And oftentimes you're going to need things like silver or gold or carbon to fix them. But it's kind of a pain in the butt. So it's always helpful when your fleets don't get damaged. So you're allowed to have 30 frigates, and I have 30 frigates, and I've had them for a long time. Up until recently, they were all mechanical frigates, but once the newest updates came out, I decided that I like the living or organic frigates the best. So I've been slowly cycling out some of the duplicate mechanical frigates that I have to make room for ultimately replacing them all with organic frigates. Also with the mechanical frigates, there's very little variation. Really, it's just the different colors, but the ship models themselves are the same. It just comes with different textures. And I also find that they seem to take a lot longer to go up in class compared to the living frigates. With the incredible diversity of living frigates or organic frigates that are out there, it's been a great deal of fun to find them and watch them grow over time. It also seems that the organic frigates, their scores go up in a more blanketed way than the mechanical frigates do. They come with such a variety of tails and flippers and head and shell adornments. It's just really wild, and the colors and the variations are just fantastic. So it's been just a delight to collect these frigates. It's just a whole lot of fun. I hope that you enjoy them too. And lastly, let's not forget our rude-captained combat frigate. Your freighter is your home amongst the stars, and you have to put it to work to make money for you each and every day. So don't forget, be diligent. Now, if you found this video helpful, please feel free to check out some of my other freighter-based how-to No Man's Sky videos like how to find living frigates, how to upgrade your freighter, and how to find S-Class freighters. And I'd like to invite you to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for joining me this evening. Have a great night and fly safe.